Good night, good evening, and happy Thanksgiving to all our American viewers and to twins. Happy Thanksgiving.
And happy off day for the regular people who don't really care about it being Thanksgiving.
There's that. There's that.
Yes.
I am being polite because that's what I was raised to do. I don't actually care, but it's the nice thing to say because most Americans have no clue what happens in the rest of the world. People were wishing me happy Thanksgiving, despite me telling them we don't celebrate in November. We celebrate in October. So they're still like happy Thanksgiving. I'm like thumbs up. So I'm saying happy Thanksgiving because it's the polite thing to do. But outside of Thanksgiving, how's your week been?
Work been work has been a little crazy, but it's still good. It's productive, but definitely crazy. But it's good though. Job security, busy. No complaints there. Personal life been very good.
I love
Very
that
great.
for you.
Very great. Very good. Very good.
Oh, not very great. I feel like we need to. I feel like we need to know. I said
I
very
swear, a
great.
little too soon, a little too soon. Baby steps.
You said very great.
Very good.
Okay, I don't know if I can top all of that. My week has been something. That's all I'm gonna say. It's been something. Life is lifing, and I'm glad to be alive. Amen
Amen.
and hallelujah to that. And I'm so glad you could actually join us on this Thanksgiving holiday that you really don't celebrate, but I appreciate you because I know people could be with their families and they could be anywhere else, including yourself. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep. And also, I want a big shout out to my mom, Dukes. Today is her birthday as well. So she gets the best of
Oh,
both
happy
birthday
birthday! Happy
and
birthday,
Thanksgiving.
Mom!
Mm-hmm.
Good for her. So did you guys go over and hang out with her for a bit and all of that good stuff?
Well, because I'm in the South, no, I didn't personally, but my twin
Because
brother,
she's in Philly, right? She's still
oh,
in Philly. Where is
Pittsburgh,
she?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. Oh, that's deep, right? Like, is there
Yeah,
beef
yeah,
between Philly
get
and
it right.
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh for one,
The
two.
Eagles and the Steelers. I'm just thinking NFL.
There we go. Here we go. Steelers, Pittsburgh.
My bad.
It's
My
all
bad. Pittsburgh. Well, happy birthday to your mom, and I'm glad that your twin got to hang out with her. Are you going to see her for Christmas? Do you fly out there for Christmas?
maybe depends, kids and stuff, a lot going on, but we're gonna make it do what it do.
Oh yeah, I get when you have young kids, things are different. Oh, hello, women without
Hmm.
young kids anymore. I know, especially two. I don't. I always say people who do multiple kids are like my hero. Like I could not imagine having more than one child. Like it just seems like a lot more work than God had prepared me for.
That
God didn't prepare me for that.
all right.
God didn't prepare me for that. God prepared me for one child and doing that one well. I always say anybody with multiple children, hats off to you. You are my hero because I am not equipped for that. However, I digress. We are going to have an amazing show on this Thanksgiving. Thank you for all of those who are joining us. To see you guys popping in. Let us know how your Thanksgiving was. If you celebrate, if you had a great time, and also what you're thankful for. That's something that we actually do during our Thanksgiving dinner is we go around and we talk about what we are thankful for. And that's so important. I think people miss that. Part of it is like it's actually a day for thanks to be given. And it's not just about food and all of that stuff. It's really to sit down with family and friends that are family and family that are friends, and all of that, and really, thank God, I think, or whomever you serve, that we're actually here because so many people did not make it. Amen to that. Anywho, this show's going to be interesting. I'm going to do a little bit of question and answer along with the topic that I'm kind of calling the chase. I saw this clip and thought it was interesting and thought it was made for good conversation. And it's a clip from tonight's conversation where a woman asked a question that I think a lot of us women have pondered on. And I think the answer made definitely, I clutched my invisible pearls. And I think a lot of women in the audience likely clutched their invisible pearls when the answer to this question was given. So I want to dissect it a bit with twins and all of you. I'm hoping that the gentleman in the chat will join us dissecting what he has to say. So in a segment I am calling the chase. Oh, I forgot to put this up here. Hello, everybody. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But we digress. Here we
Why
go.
do men work so hard to get you? And then when you finally get them a chance, they won't put in the work to keep you.
Oh, sometimes it don't be there when we get there. Damn. Yeah, no, I'm tired of not leaving Yelp reviews, bro. Y'all need to stop going quietly on some cool. Like, I'm not saying this about every woman. I'm not saying this is a majority. I'm not saying none of that. Matter of fact, I'm not saying it's the woman at all. Perhaps I did everything that I did. I pursued you. And once we got into an intimate enough environment, we realized this is where we should stop. We don't belong anywhere closer to each other than what we've gotten so far. As a matter of fact, this is a perfect time for us to get off the boat without crashing. I think too often we men and women for that matter, we feel entitled to a positive result from dating somebody. We feel entitled to a positive result from doing the quote unquote right things. Right? If I'm a this, you can see it in dudes, right? I done put the bread up, I done planned the dates, I done did all that, and she still ain't this, that, and the third. It's like, fam, was you on that because this is who you are, or was you on that because you thought it would impress her? So I'm not saying nothing about you again. I'm just saying that, like, some dudes, we do all that pursuing, we get there, and be bland as hell.
Message.
I felt that one to my core.
Why?
I
Why?
You know, because you know what, as women, we romanticize the idea of being with someone and falling in love. We romanticize that this man that we meet really is going to be our Prince Charming and he's going to come in and he's going to do all of these things to get your attention and you guys end up together and you live happily ever after. And so when you find or that person comes into your life, when that person comes into your life and starts doing that, it's natural for you to fall for it. It's just a natural thing. If someone is coming and doing all of the things in your mind that the man that you will end up with is doing, and he does all of that, and you guys get together, and I'm not just talking about sexually, but you could get together in a relationship. I think for a lot of us, we get into relationships and we already start planning the future when the man is here. Like he's just gotten to the relationship and we are over here, right? Like way over there. And so when he stops doing what he did to get into the relationship, there's a couple of things that I think happen for women, but one of them isn't just accepting that, like he said, this is as far as it goes and walking away. We question why you're doing it. We complain why you're doing it. We tell you want to do it. We do all of these different things, which either makes you go further back this way or just says, yeah, this is really as far as we can go until somebody else comes along. Because I'm enjoying this, but not enjoying this to move it along. But we want you to move it along, but we don't leave because you did so much. And we fell in love with the part of you that was over here, even though where you are right now, we want you to go back here. So that was a long explanation, but yeah, that's why that one hit.
Okay. All right. Well, I look at it this way. It's kind of like the cat and mouse game. So we say it's a lot in all the previous shows that communication is the foundation of the relationship. So during that time frame when you're talking, yes, communication is very key, very important, right? And then as you said, we was over here, right? And then now we're together, and it's like the chase ain't there no more. Well, ladies, and fellas as well, even though a lot of things were said, because some people could talk a really good game. So always remember that. They'll talk a good game. But it's the second part of it is now the action. Now the action has to match up to the communication. And you should be able to know that right away. Once y'all get to that point where y'all now like this now, if the action is not lining up with the If the action not aligned with the communication, then there's a disconnect, right? So, and that's one way of looking at it, right? Another way of looking at it is that, you know, when you think about chasing someone, I think the last time I chased someone was like a long time ago, and this was back in my simp days, right? So meaning that I would say I was put in the friend zone category, right? So I was liking this girl, I wanted her, but you know, it just wasn't my time yet. But I was around during the boyfriend 1, boyfriend 2, jail this, XYZ, drama. I was still there. So then when it was my shot, I got there, I got what I wanted, and I was gone. So that's two ways how I look at it, because it's like, well, I'm here now, but you know, I got here because, you know, I put my time in, waited, and now I got what I wanted. Now I'm gone. So it's a double sword how you look at it. So, you know, you put that guy in the friend zone, okay, he'll play his part till his time come around, and then once he get he wants, then he's gone. So it's like, well, you chased me all these years, but now you don't want me. No, because you dragged me throughout that time frame. So you got that part and then the first part. Does it make sense what I'm saying?
But what about it does? But what about the women who technically you didn't? You know, the woman used chase. I'm going to use the word pursue, right? Because chase goes to what you're saying. I was running after you and you were dodging me. Like that to me is a chase, right? But a pursuit is very different. A man who sets his sight on a woman, sees this woman and says, that's the woman I want to be with, what for whatever reason. And he does all the things. He courts her, he does that, and she's interested. So this isn't a woman who's putting him in the friend zone. Like she's interested and they're doing the adult mature thing. They're dating, they're talking, they're getting to know each other. They come together. He decides this is the woman I want to be with. This happens. And for some reason, during some point in that relationship, something happens where he stops doing that. He stops that pursuit. He may no longer see this woman as potentially a woman that he wants in his future. He's enjoying the present. But when it comes to future planning, he doesn't necessarily see her now for whatever reason, whatever happened between those months of pursuing and enjoying each other. My issue is, why not communicate that? Because that's the part for me. You talk about communication. Let's get back there. For me, because a man, for me, ladies, and don't come from me, but this is my thinking, the man is the one who drives the relationship, right? He's in the driver's seat most of the time. The man is the one who proposes, the man who, and I'm saying like all of the things that happen to move the relationship along, the relationship status along, the man is the one that's driving that. Women aren't out here proposing. Women aren't out here saying, do you want to be my man? Let's get, like, we're just not, at least in my world, we're not doing that, right? So if at some point you go from drive to neutral to park, you were driving along, the future was there. Something happens, you get into neutral, so you're cruising. You can still see the future, but maybe you're slowing down on the future. But then for whatever reason, you're now in park. You're both still in the car. You're not turning on the engine. As a man, why not just communicate that?
Maybe it's a possibility that the lady, you know, from the guy's point of view, don't provide a good, safe place for us to have the open dialogue.
Huh? Do you need a safe place if you're just in park? In neutral, I guess. Mm-hmm. But if you're, and I know my analogies, right? But in neutral, you're still cruising along, right? You're a little bit slower, right? You're in neutral, so you're a little bit slower. But when you are parked, where this is just not going anywhere, do you really need a safe space to have that conversation? Because it's not going anywhere.
I agree, but sometimes I don't feel like they don't want the drama. Sometimes it can become. My thing is, I'm not out here to make enemies, right? And some people get attached non-sexually, right? We ain't have sex none yet, but some people get so attached, and then when I like pull away, it's like it becomes crazy. Like I don't got time for that. You know what I'm saying? I just don't have the energy. We're not really attached on that type of level, but I just pump the brakes. That's
but
me.
Why not just say like, hey, we're cool. We're like, hey, me and you are having a conversation. You're now in park. We're out of neutral. You're now in park. You just do not see this relationship going anywhere. Hey, listen, Toshiba. We were cool. Things were going along great. But as we progress, I just don't see you in my future. And so I want you to have the opportunity to decide if you're going to stay in this and enjoy the present that we're having, knowing that there isn't no future, or if you're going to go and find somebody who is better for you, who wants what you want, who wants the marriage and all of those different things. At our big age, okay, I understand 20s, 30s. Again, we're not talking to these people, right? But women are late 30s, early 40s, early 50s. I think that is an appropriate conversation to have. And guess what? If there's drama, there's drama. But at the end of the day, there's going to be drama regardless. And it's probably going to be worse drama if you stretch that thing out a few more months or a few more years. That becomes more drama because the woman is more invested. Now, to the ladies, what I will say, because that's been something that has been my downfall, I don't leave. I just settle into this new norm, right? Things are going along. I don't mind cruise control. Maybe it's what's needed. And so I end up staying in a situation that I should probably leave, but it's hard in these streets. I don't want to go through the dating again. I don't want to go through the meeting. I don't want to learn about your family. I do not want to take on somebody else's. Like, it's a lot to go through. This is why, like, even dating multiple men at the same time for me is difficult, because it's like you have to take on so much. So when I'm finally in something, I'm kind of like, oh, I like it here. Like, it's comfortable here, even when it starts being a little bit uncomfortable. So I would say, ladies, you know what? If I had any advice, we need to stop waiting for these men to tell us that they don't want a future. Well, we're clearly seeing through actions that this future that you thought you were having with this man isn't happening.
No argument there.
But we still want the chase. And I think that's the thing. We're hoping he will go back to the man he was when he was pursuing us. And again, I'm using the word pursue instead of chase. We are hoping that man goes back to the man he was to pursuing us, because we fell in love with the man who was pursuing us. That was the man we fell in love with, the man who called you all the time, the man who surprised you, the man who was doing those sweet little things that you love that made him stand out from the other men who were always also pursuing you, right? Like, we all want to stand out. And so now he's done all of this, and you're like, oh my God, I've gotten rid of all of these other men because this is the one for me. You don't necessarily want to do this again. But I just think as adults, it's important to have that conversation. And I think, just personally for me, I'm gonna put it back on men. Again, if you're in the driver's seat, it's not me and the passenger to say go left, go right. It's for you to be like, I no longer want to go left because I want to go right, and right is not with you. Right.
Well, I have no argument with that. I mean, that's fair. I think that's fair. What you're asking for, I think it's fair. Yeah, it's just very tricky in this dating game nowadays. So I agree. What you're saying makes sense. And since we are the ones who kind of dictate the relationship in most cases, we should give that, out of respect or whatever. Hey, this ain't going away. I thought I was going go X, Y, Z. So no argument on that. I agree.
And if there's a little bit of drama, take a little bit of drama. I'm telling you, take it in the beginning before you drag this crap on for months or years or however long some of these relationships go on and nothing's happening. But I think the other part I'm also curious about is, before we get to our Q&A, the part where he says the reason sometimes you don't want to pursue anymore is because when you get there, they ain't ish there. So as a man, as you're pursuing a woman and you're enjoying that honeymoon phase, what is it that will happen for you to be like, pause? Because that's the important part. Like, there's something that happened that made you go from drive to neutral to park, right? Something happened. So what are the things that as women we have done in your experience or from friends and so forth that makes a guy kind of go, oh, let me slow this one down. And listen, ladies, listen up, ladies.
The pressure. I don't speak for all men on this one, but I speak for Dwayne twins personally. So I would say things that I had maybe just put a halt on a communication with a woman. I would say makeup. And I said because, and let me explain.
Yes,
When-
please.
Let me explain. Let me provide more content. So
Yes,
I'm
please.
pursuing you, getting to know you. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind a little makeup there, XYZ. I'm cool with that, right? But then when we finally start hooking up, hanging out, whatever, and I'm not even talking about sexual, just really hanging out, kicking it, whatever. And then you may stay a night. What I'm saying, and then you go in the bathroom, change, and you come out a totally different person. Yeah, I mean, not always different, but the point is like, oh wow, it's a difference. That was something that made me go, okay, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not, me personally, I'm not big on makeup, right? But if you have a whole face you take on and put on and take off, it's a problem to me. That's number one. Number two is something is you're overstepping your boundaries. So like I said, maybe you're talking to each other, whatever, and you're being, let's say, more aggressive, man. Like I'm the one to say you're my woman, XYZ. You can't be out here claiming me if we didn't have that conversation yet, right? Talking about, oh yeah, well, I don't care about this because he got to worry about this. Wait a minute, hold up. We didn't have a conversation about us, right? And I'm the one, like I said, I'm the one that's going to dictate it. It's the same thing about why I let a woman propose to me. Hell to the no. Absolutely. So no. So it's the same thing as we're dating. You can't be like, oh, that's my man. No. Pause. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that's like things that maybe pull back because we need that conversation. And then in the day, we should sit down and have a conversation. But I want to be the one like, you're my woman. Then once we establish that part, then you can talk about my man. I'm cool with that. But before that, I say, hold up, we didn't get, it's only week one. What are we talking about?
Oh, not week one.
So it just just a few things that maybe kind of pull back. That's it for now. Just a few things.
And that's good to know. And gentlemen in the chat, I'd be curious from you. You guys have been quiet. I guess people are full from their Thanksgiving meal, right? They got the real itis. But that makes sense. Like I get number two. I guess for me, number one is interesting because when I first meet a guy and I video call and all of those things, I do so without makeup. Like you don't see me with makeup. Like there's some guys who I've talked to that unless they watch the show, they don't actually see me with makeup. Like I work from home, like all of those things. I'm not sitting in a full face of makeup to go on some team meetings. Like I'm not doing that, right? So unless you see me and I'm headed out somewhere with the girls or I do the show, that's literally the only time I put on makeup at all. So I guess for me, it's that kind of okie doke. If you're doing your due diligence, should there really be an okie doke? Because when you have video call and all of that stuff, like are women showing up in full face of makeup? I mean, I've heard women go to the gym with full face of makeup, which is crazy to me. But is that what's happening? Like she's like, hey, Dwayne, and she got a full face of makeup on.
You know what? I'll say it was done very good. What I didn't know that it was that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Like, you know what I'm saying? And I did the FaceTime, meet in person. You know, I don't mind a little this, a little that. But then like once it like we hung out for real, I was like, oh shit. That is a lot of makeup married. You know what I mean? Like, hold on, okay.
That.
You know what I mean?
I get
like,
that.
So yeah. So and also too, another thing is as well that like if I'm talking to a woman who has had kids already, right? Married or a baby mom, doesn't matter, whatever. And we're talking and I'm pursuing you like normal, whatever. But when you start having, when we have conversation, you always complain about what he's not doing and XYZ keep going on all the time about it. I'm thinking to myself, like, well, what makes me different from them? Because you gave them the ultimate prize was a child. If you talk about them bad in public, whatever, what's going to happen if me and you get into an argument? Because I'm nobody compared to the person that you gave a child to, right? The argument numbers pump the brakes as well. I'll fall back because now I'm get to know you more and more. And like, I don't know if I'm be right. I don't like this character that I'm talking to right now.
That makes a lot of sense. I can appreciate those three. So ladies, what Twins just said is, again, what will make him personally pause on a woman is one, too much makeup. Number two, which I think is important, trying to claim a relationship and put a title on a relationship before he's ready to do so. He's let him make that decision. Let him get there before you're like, that's my man, my man, my man. And number three is your character, how you talk about people in your past, because I think that is actually fundamentally important because it also shows lack of accountability because it takes two to tango. So regardless of what he's or she's doing over there, people, what are you doing to contribute to what they're doing? Right? Like because there's always, especially when there are kids involved. If kids become, it's a whole mess when children become involved in relationships because it's always sometimes a little bit of tit for tat. And I think the last thing a man wants to hear in something new is consistently what your old did constantly with not you saying, here's what I did to get us here and I'm really trying to fix this and so forth and so on, but it's always him and he did this and he's no good and I don't like I would get sick of that too. I mean, I talked about this on last show. Like that's like a red flag for me when somebody consistently talks about their ex and what their ex has done and never ever ever takes accountability for how they got there because you chose them. At the end of the day, you chose to be with that person. So like clearly you are doing something wrong as well. So listen, I appreciate that. And I'm not gonna harp on this one. I thought it was a good one to start with because I am curious, because I won't lie. Like when I saw that one, it hit me because I know that I've been in those situations. And I know that, like I said, it part of the responsibility is also on us as women to walk away, right? A part of the responsibility is when, because I think a lot of the times we don't want to, like, I'm the person who doesn't want to seem like a nagger. I don't want to nag you. I don't want to have to beg a man to show up for me. Like, I feel like I'm begging. If I have to say, Dwayne, you know what? Remember when you used to do that? You used to call me all the time. You don't really call me much anymore, right? Guess what? I'm just going to match your energy. You don't call, I don't call. You don't text, I don't text. And eventually, instead of just, ending and just saying, listen, clearly this isn't working because, we're both kind of drawing back. Sometimes we just stay. And again, because it can be, listen, it's not easy. And I'm not going to say that there's piss in the pool because there's not piss in my pool. But it doesn't matter if there's piss or it's crystal clear, there's Perrier water in your pool. Sometimes you just don't want to take a dip in the pool. You don't want to dip in the pool. You just don't want to be in the pool. Like, you just don't want it. Like, you're tired of swimming. It's exhausting. You just want to chill and relax in your comfortable little situation in your relationship. So I think we have to take responsibility on both sides. Guys, I'm going to say, if you're with a woman and you pursue her and you get to the other side and it's ghetto over there and just don't want to be there, let that woman know. And if the pursuit is over and you realize this man is drawing back, have that conversation and be honest with each other. And sometimes people don't recognize it. Listen, my last thing. Sometimes life gets busy and you may not even realize that you've stopped doing the things that you're doing before because life gets busy. People have to work, people have responsibility, people have businesses. Like, life is lifing out here in the adult world when you have to get up and work to make your money. Okay. So it's like, do you have the conversation and bring it up, or do you wait to see what the person does? We are all about communication. So of course we would suggest have the conversation. But I guess for women, the scary part is, and this is where I'm going to ask you to end it, how do I approach a conversation like that? How do I approach a conversation with a man who was pursuing me, in my mind, heavy and has slowed down? How do I open up that dialogue?
I mean, just ask the question. Be upfront and direct. I mean, ask the question that you want to know. Don't dance around it. That's how I look at it. Just come out and say, hey, we were XYZ here. Now it's not here. What's going on? Are we in the same place? Are we going separate? Like, just let me know what it is. Don't be like, what's going on with you? Nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we've grown. If you got something to say, then just say it. I mean, it should be the same way too. I should come out and say it as well. But if you want to know, ask the question. Don't get mad because I'm not being vocal. You're not being vocal either because you need to come up my neck respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Respectfully. Now, you don't got to be disrespectful, but be direct. Hey, what's going on? You haven't called me. You haven't texted me. You good? Okay, you are good. So what's going on with us? You know, just have that question.
Mm.
I'm not beating nothing out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, match my energy. If I'm not reaching out to you, that's fine. Because my action is going to show who I want to be with or who I want to talk to. Because I'm going to blow your phone up. I'm gonna text you, whatever. Even if I'm busy. Hey, I'm busy. I'm in a meeting. I see your message. Have a great day. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't getting that
Yeah.
from me, that should be enough to know, like, okay, he's not pursuing. What are we doing out here? So that's it.
I respect that. I love that. Ladies, listen up. This is a good one. Okay, we are actually going to go to our Q&A. Let me get myself prepared for that. Do, do, do. You guys don't actually want to hear me sing, so I don't even know why I was doing all of that. Let me ask you another question, actually, before we get to the question. I'm curious to know your take on this. So, we're going back to the pursuit. So, he slows down on his pursuit. But while he's slowing down, another man is stepping up. This is how we get into trouble sometimes, ladies, right?
It's both
So,
ways. Both ways.
right? So while this man has slowed down his pursuit, he's in neutral, looking like he's going apart, and next man is there. It's like the universe is just like, hey, they're circling around like sharks, right? So this next man starts pursuing heavy. What's your advice to women in that situation? I'd be curious to know.
What's my advice to the ladies on that one?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, if the guy that's on neutral, he's on neutral, let him be in neutral. If the new person comes in and he's stepping up to the plate and doing what he's supposed to do, good. But then when the other guy comes off neutral and want to be in drive, just say, hey, I'm glad you're doing good, XYZ, blah, blah, blah. Especially if you ain't got a title. Let them know, hey, I know life is lifing, right? Life is lifing. But I do want to let you know that I'm actually, having a conversation with someone else as well. They kind of stepped up to the plate. I'm not saying there's any competition going on, but I'm just letting you know this is what it is. And he can't be mad because if he the one who was pursuing you first and he fell off and someone stepped in, that's part of the game. I'm sorry. That's the part of the game of dating. If we're dating, if we're all on the same dating app and I started talking to you, right? We're on the same app and when you start talking and all of a sudden I drift off and small your DM, guess what? It's going to pique your interest. Same with me. You think I'm on the app and I'm going to get one DM? You think because I start talking to you, no one else will send me messages? Like, think about it for a second. You think no one else will send you a message? So the point I'm trying to make is that if you fall off, that's what's going to happen. And it's on both sides, men or women. Yeah. It's on both sides. So my thing is this: if I'm being, what I do is when I'm starting to be intentional with a woman, I deactivate it or pause my account.
I do that too. Yeah.
So therefore, there's no distraction. So then but still, if you still on neutral and my phone's dead, I ain't getting a good morning, how you doing, XYZ. Yeah. I'm gonna unpause that joint and see what happens, and let the games begin.
Real talk. I love that. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the advice. Okay, let's get into some of these. Question. We had 1 to 60 last week. I'm actually going to start it off. I'm not even going to go into what's taken. If it's taken, I'll move to the next one. But I'm actually going to start with this question since it is Thanksgiving and people are around people's family. So question number 5 is, is it a red flag? Sorry, question number 4. Is it a red flag if your partner doesn't get along with your family?
That's a tough one, but I'll say it wouldn't be a red flag because, one, I don't really care. I don't mess with my family like that. But it'd be a problem if you don't get along with moms or dads.
Ooh.
Because if we do get serious and married and kids, grandma's going to be around. Granddad's going to be around. So if you don't get along with the whole family, cool, but you got to be able to get along with grandma and granddad. Sorry. Well, mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? You got to get along with mom and dad. So outside of that, no, that's it. That's my take.
I agree. I don't ever tell my family either. Like if they weren't my blood, I would never speak to them. So like ever in life, like I don't like you. But my mom, and rest in peace to my daddy. Like if you didn't get along with my daddy, then I won't lie, there was no chance. Like I am a huge daddy's girl. Like even in his passing, you best not say anything like bad about my dad. Like you're automatically cut off. So I'm with you. Like mom and dad, yeah, and I guess my child, clearly. But outside of that, it's if you're cool, they don't. As long as you don't disrespect them, because there's not getting along and there's disrespect. I don't deal with disrespect. I don't care if I don't like them. You don't get to disrespect them, right? I don't do that. But in terms of you guys hanging out or you feel the need to check in on them, no, you don't need to do any of that because I don't feel any obligation to do that either. And as long as when you're in public settings, like I said, there's no disrespect, there's no bad blood, there's no ignoring each other or rolling eyes or any of that. It's just like you're cool, right? Like you guys are just cool. But that's what I would say about that. But happy Thanksgiving for those of you who do not get along with your in-laws and have to deal with them today. God bless you. I pray for you.
Also, let me throw something else in there, and this is for my fellas. This might be a dating tip or a marriage tip. If for some reason that your wife or future wife or wife and your mother don't get along, the best way to fix that concern is you're going to tell your lady, hey, that's my mom. She gave me birth. Gotta make it work. You talk to mom. Mom, that's my wife or future wife. Whatever you gotta do, y'all gotta work it out. So the moral of the story is you stay out the middle of it. You set the tone that them two gotta work it out, and you slowly back out of it because you pick and choose. You pick and choose is gonna hurt you either way. So don't pick and choose. Back your way out. Set the tone on both sides. Wife, hey, that's my mom. You know what I'm saying? You gotta set the tone, but don't pick. Whatever you do not pick. So that's all I got.
This is not on here, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. There will be a point where you may have to pick. So let me give you a scenario because this is one that's going all around the internet. In terms of who sits in the front seat of the car beside you. So let's just say you have picked up your mom from work or something on your way to go get your wife, and you go get your wife. She's expecting your mom to get out of the front seat. Mom isn't getting out of the front seat. And she's telling wife to go in the back seat. Who is supposed to be sitting beside you in that car?
Woo, that's a good one. I've seen that so many times. Never ran into that one. But if I have my mom in the front seat, then you have to get in the back seat. Because more likely, mom's going to be older. She probably can't move like she normally could. And I'm not going to have her try to come out the back seat. And secondly, for me, so my scenario is this, because my mom lives in a state. My mom's not always here, right? She's not always in state. I don't get to see her all the time. So my caveat is, I'm not pick and choosing, but if I get in a car and mom's in the car first, then whatever. If I pick you up and, you're in the seat, then mom get in the back. Now, if I will hope that one of y'all will become more mature enough to make a better decision. I will hope that my wife is healthy, in shape, XYZ, and won't matter if, hey, mom, you can sit in the front based on the relationship. But I never ran into that situation. But I mean, once again, that's a tough one, So I'm gonna go with the mom in the front seat. But if I see any disrespect, I'm gonna check both of them. Like y'all both can y'all can call Uber. Because I'm not, because what you're not going to do is cause chaos here and fly back home, and I got to be stuck with her dealing with this chaos. This is what we're not going to do. So I'll nip that in the bud. I'll pull over to you know what? How about I'll sit in the back seat, you drive, you sit in the back seat, I sit in the back. Problem solved.
I mean, that's a good way to do it. I'm going to tell you, most women, we're going to feel a certain type of way sitting in the back. Now, we may not say it. We may not tell our mother-in-law to get her fat ass out the front because it's disrespectful. But you almost want your mother-in-law to get out of the front so you can sit with your husband. I've had a long day. I just want to hold my husband's hand on this drive, kiss him on the cheek, and go about my way. So as some women, they may not say anything and they may just go in the back and they'll put a smile on their face and go, okay, honey, and kiss their mother-in-law, but they're gonna feel a certain type of way. And sometimes that shows up in the bedroom or shows up in her not wanting to cook for you for the next little bit or whatever. Like it manifests in some way because in their mind, you are supposed to forsake your mother. Like we are supposed to forsake our fathers. Like if my man and my father in an argument, my father, God rest his soul, wouldn't have gotten to just say any and anything to my husband because he's my husband. Like I cleave to my husband, right? Like you leave your father's nest and you cleave to your husband. So there are women want men to cleave to their wives. So again, we may not say anything, but we almost want it to be what, like it's like, hey mom, you know what? When Toshiba comes in, you know I'm gonna expect that you leave because you know I want to sit with my wife, as opposed to me having to ever be in the situation of telling your mom to leave. Like I wouldn't personally do that, but I won't lie, feel a certain type of way. It might just be for a moment, and it may not last or linger, but it's gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because my daddy wouldn't, like, I wouldn't have my daddy just up. Like, if the men want to sit together because it's a thing, and I'm like, cool. No, if my dad's like getting up, I'm like, no, daddy, cool. That's fine. Like, that's different. It's like your mom's getting out. You're like, no, like, you know, Mrs. Or mother-in-law, mom, whatever, stay. Like, I got this. I'm going to read in the back or I'm going to do some work. That's fine. But not even making the attempt and you just being cool with it, I think most wives are going to feel sad. And I'm being very clear, wife. I'm not talking about girlfriend or fiance. I'm talking about wife. I do. I think we're going to feel a certain type of way.
I mean, I would say it would also depend on the dynamic of the relationship, right? I think, you know, with your wife, you know, you should have a good understanding, good communication about the future plans. Like, you know, mom's in town this week, you know what I'm saying? Like that shouldn't be a problem if we have a good, healthy relationship. I mean, it's kind of petty to me, especially if you're the man who take care of everything. Like, so I'm not talking about the little boys. I'm talking about the men who take care of the shit. So if I'm paying all the bills, I don't want to hear a peep from neither one of y'all.
Oh!
I want to keep it honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's the, you know, you in the front, whoever's the least healthiest get to sit in the front seat. I don't want to hear nothing. Like, too many things go in the world and we crying and fighting over seats. I'm not playing that game. That's the scene shouts to me. If I got to pick and choose between mom and wife, man, listen, that's why I have multiple cars. So you can drive your car. I drive my car and have my mom's car. Problem solved. I love
that. I got nothing. I got no rebuttal. I got nothing. I'm just gonna let that one be. Okay, we're gonna get back to the question. Again, we chose a few like 20 last week. So give me a number between 1 and 80, and I just pray is it one we've done. I'll just go to the one we haven't done if we've done that one. So number between 1 and 80.
All right, let's go number 5.
Number 5. Okay. Could you forgive your partner for something they did before you met them? That's an interesting question. Could you forgive your partner for something they did before you met them? So I guess it has to be a scenario that you don't like, and they tell you, hey, I don't know, maybe a woman said, back in my college day, I had a train run on me.
Yeah, that's a no-go. Can't.
That was very clearly very extreme, but like I was trying to come up with something that would make men feel a certain type of way.
That's a no-go for me. Or
I cheated on my last boyfriend or something like that.
No, she wouldn't do it, but you having a train ran on you and there's videos out there circulating the World Wide Web.
Not videos.
Yeah, videos that could be circling the World Wide Web that could pop up. Yeah, those two is a no-go for me.
So what are some things that a woman can do in her past that are forgivable?
I mean, shit, the train is the worst one. You know what I mean? That's.
Of course, I would come up with the worst one.
Yeah. So outside of that, I don't think nothing else. I mean, I'm gonna look at you. So let's say you bust the windows out your man's car, slash his tires. I'm gonna look at you side eye, like, okay, you got a little special on you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna look at you side eyes, and the first time you do something crazy, I'm gonna like, be good. But outside that, I mean, else. I guess another thing. I mean, this is another extreme. If you slept with my brother, like, yeah, I don't. We don't share. I had to share with him my whole life. I'm damn sure I ain't sharing no woman with my brother.
I completely get that part. I get you. I'm with you. It depends on what it is. It really depends on what it is. My biggest thing is what you did in the past going to impact us in the present or future. That is my main thing. If it's something that has no impact on us now or in the future, oh, forgive me, you did that before you met me. But if what you've done is going to impact us, our lifestyle, anything currently or in the future, I'm gonna have to think that one through. And there could be like a number of things, right? Like there is a couple on the Love Is Blind, and it's a whole controversy about the husband had donated his sperm to his lesbian best friend, and there are kids that have his DNA, but are technically not his kids. So they're not his kids, but they came from his sperm. But she had his sperm with her wife, so she was married, but then she got divorced. Anyway, so there's three kids that are biologically his, but technically not his. That's I'm gonna have to look at that one. Like God bless the wife, and I love them together, and I think it's amazing. But I might have to pause and go at some point. What if these three kids are going to be in our life? I don't know if I can start off with three kids that you have with your lesbian best friend. That's really not your kids, but they are. You know what I'm saying? Like that for me,
Weird.
because that's a huge impact.
Yes, that's where. So, did she intentionally go out there to find his sperm, or just happened to the luck of the draw?
No, he gave it to them. Like he willingly gave them, yeah, I think he was 27 at the time, right? Like, our prefrontal cortex doesn't
Yeah, I
actually
get that.
develop until certain size. But it was not smart, and he admits it was not a smart thing to do. So yeah, so these kids are his biological children, but they were supposed to be raised with her and her wife. They're now divorced, and apparently she's in a new relationship. She's engaged again to another woman, and they're raising the kids. But it's a whole, anyways, it came out on Love Is Blind. There's a whole thing. Like that to me, like kudos to the wife for being able to deal with that. But to me, that for me would be a lot because there is a potential if something happens, who's now responsible for these three kids because they're biologically yours,
Yeah,
even though they're not legally yours.
right. The only thing that bothers me in that scenario is that he gave his friend, like someone he knows,
Yeah.
the sperm. Like that's the only thing. Like he knows that woman, and like, sure, I'll give you my sperm. Like that's crazy. That's weird to
Yeah.
me. That's kind of weird. Like, yeah, I give someone money, cool. Let someone borrow your car, cool. Let someone- cool. But giving someone your sperm to have kids that are your kids biologically, yeah, that's a little that's kind of weird to me. Yeah, women, I would never do that like that. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't know. Mm-mm. No,
I mean,
thank you.
donating is one thing.
Yeah.
Giving to someone that you know, that's diabolical.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, and like I said, that I'd have to give that a huge pause. So those are certain things where I'd be like I'm not sure, like that wasn't smart. I don't know how this is gonna impact me. Go ahead.
And then also, it makes me believe, like, so did y'all never had a relationship with each other? Like, that's gonna make me think, like, so y'all did nothing with each other, never. You mean think about it? Are you sure? But anyway, I'm done.
I'm with you. So yeah, that there's some caveats. Caveats to the thing. Okay, let me choose a question. I'm going to go with question. Let's go with question 32. What's the biggest red flag you've ignored and why? I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
The biggest red flag I have ignored was that I was with someone who had children while still married to someone else. and I was with them while they were still married because they told me they were going to get a divorce, and then they never got a divorce. And why did I ignore it? Because it's hard in these streets. And I wanted to be with the person so much, and I believed what they were saying. I believed that, yes, they were going to get this divorce, and yes, when they have these children with this person, despite being married, that it was something that happened, even though the children were back to back, like Drake said, back to back. And their intention was to just free themselves of this person. And yeah, that was a silly red flag to ignore because it ended up silly biting me in the bum cheek. That's next.
All right. So the biggest red flag that I avoided, I would say, that's a good one. I really don't have a one that I could pick one. It's not maybe a woman who doesn't have her own place
Mm.
at this big 40 and 30-year-old age that we are now, right? They living with their home girls and what I'm saying, like that. It's just, oh yeah, yeah. I think that was probably a red flag because
Go ahead.
one, then I can't come over and hang out because your girlfriend's there all the time, right? So that's not good for me, right? And then two, she have her friends come over to the crib, and then she might have a dude come over and I know how that shit goes. You got a friend for my girl, got a friend for my boy. I know how that shit goes, and this kind of drives me crazy. So that might be a red flag that I avoided.
That's a good one. You know what? I was going to ask a question, but I'm not even going to. That's I respect it. Okay. A number from you.
10.
Number 10. Would you accept your partner's close friendship with someone they slept with? I already know what your answer is.
Oh, that's a hell no. You already know. You slept with this person? Oh, no. You know what? If you want to keep that friend, that's cool. I'm going to bow down respectfully and exit stage left or stage right, whatever it is. I'm out. I ain't even going to argue with you.
Doesn't matter how. I didn't even finish.
No, I'm sorry. My apologies. Go ahead. Finish your status. I'm sorry.
Well, what if this happened when they were like in their early 20s and now they're 40? So had a friend, slept with them when I was 22, but now I'm 40. We've remained friends over 18 years. Nothing's happening. You're still a no from you?
All right. Let me keep it real with y'all because, sometimes I got to be real with y'all. All right. Anyone that I was intimate with once, I don't care. I was 16-year-old until now. I will be hitting it again because once I had it once, I can 9 out of 10 times get it again. So do you want to play that game? Okay, I'm done.
I have nothing. I have nothing. I actually have nothing. How I will answer the question, it depends on when they slept with this person. If it's within the last few years, hey, Jeff. If it's within the last few years, I may have a problem. If it is within, okay, actually, I'm going to start over. It depends on the relationship status of the woman. I actually won't lie. It depends on the relationship. If this woman is in a relationship, living her best life, married, whatever, as long as it wasn't a year or so ago, I'm good. But if this woman is still single, I'm going to have a problem. I don't care how long ago it was.
The married ones be the best ones. We talking about. Let me tell you why the married ones. Let me be real today. See, the reason why the married one's even better because I know that she goes home to her husband.
Oh my Lord, I'm mercy, Jesus.
So with that being said, we get to do our thing, and that's it. I don't gotta worry about the relationship. I don't gotta worry about no headache. She ain't gonna call me. She ain't gonna text me. She ain't gonna spend no money. None of that bullshit because she got her own situation going on. And if she play a part, we'll be doing this for years. I'm sorry. Split the tea, fellas. My bad. She didn't know. Had to let her know, fellas. Had to let her know. She said, "Oh, I don't care if they make. Don't do it. Don't do it."
Wow. Okay. Conceited 2.0. Hello, welcome. Said fact. My rule is if she's seen my eggplant, ain't no friends. LOL. I said I want the men to keep it real, and y'all certainly keep it real on the show. Yep. We're gonna move on. we're gonna we're gonna move on. Number 38. Could you forgive emotional cheating if there was no physical betrayal?
Could I? No. Once you cheat, it's a wrap. No. I don't care if it's emotional or not emotional. Nope.
He didn't touch her though. Didn't touch her. But
Oh,
texting, phone calls, it's all emotional. No
well,
touching.
so with that being said, I mean, unless the shit falls in my lap, I will never know because I don't go through phones, emails. Not so. Unless for some reason the shit falls in my lap, like I don't know how it happens, I will never know that happens.
Because we break down. Because we know. Here's the thing. I think for women, and I've always said that emotional cheating is the worst for women. Because I've gotten attached to you. You're the person I want to talk to. I'm now telling you my innermost, deepest, darkest secrets. I'm sharing my ups, my downs, and everything. I start doing like we don't necessarily have to do the with you, but you start being that confidant. Just like I was saying, think about what I was saying earlier in the show. My man used to pursue me, is no longer pursuing me. Some man is coming behind him, wanting to take his place. So now he's showing up in a way my man used to. I miss that over here, so I'm not doing that over here. So for me, I'm already physically detaching myself for you, even though I haven't physically attached myself to him. That I'm gonna say for me, emotional cheating is worse because I know as a woman when we do it what that looks like, and it's yeah, it's a lot. Go ahead.
So for me, just to add on top of that, ladies, you know, take it to the grave. Take it to the grave. Do
We
not tell
take it
me
to the
that.
grave.
Yeah, take it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me that you almost did something. Just take it to the grave. Because if it didn't happen, guess what? It didn't happen. I get it. You want to be open? No, just take it to the grave. Because once you tell me what you almost did, I'm done. We are
Okay.
territorial. We as
Ooh.
men, we are very territorial of our women. Once I make you my woman, you're mine. So the fact you out there entertaining someone else, XYZ, okay, on to the next one. I'll find someone else that can make mine that's gonna be loyal to me. I ain't got time for that. There's too many women out here for me to be trying to fight somebody who don't want to be with me. I'm not doing that.
Ooh. Okay. Conceited 2.0 said emotional cheating for a woman is worse than her getting her cheeks clapped up. Not saying I would prefer my woman getting clapped. LOL. He also continued to say, hell yeah, I don't want to know. Jeff Short said, I agree with twins because how would we know she's cheating emotionally if we had no knowledge of it? It's because we bait ourselves out. We seriously do. Like we will, especially when you love your man. And sometimes I think we do some things, and it's a way to try to manipulate our men in a way. Is we might mention something, hoping that the mention of that thing will make you step up and get back to the place that we used to be. Because the emotion, like a man isn't able to slip in emotionally or in any way for me if in my mind my man is doing what he's supposed to do. You have no space because my man is taking up all that space. But the moment there is, I'm not getting what I want from you. The phone calls have slowed down. You're not checking on me. When I call you, you're not answering. If, again, Mr. Man is behind you and he's picking up my calls and he's making sure I'm good and he's checking on how did that presentation go at work and all of those things that he used to do, that's how he gets in. But we start kind of feeling guilty. Or for some women, it's not even the guilt, it's let me tell my man that somebody's trying to take his spot because you're territorial, hoping that will mean that I step up.
Yeah, let's make sure you think about that before you do that. That no, don't tell me that someone pursuing you, because I'm gonna be like, oh, go ahead then. If you pursuing, you tell me this is competition. I'm not fighting with you. Go ahead, I'll get someone else. Listen, as men, we know this as men, period. I could have a conversation. I could have a day at work that happened. It could be a woman took me out a coworker took me out to work. A coworker, me and my job sent me and my coworker to go to a movie. Just whatever. If I went home to my wife or my woman, that I will make sure to take that part out. Oh yeah, I went to the movie today. Oh yeah, I went and had lunch today. I will never say, oh yeah, me and so had dinner. Because then all she gonna hear is who's so and so. And then now I gotta explain who the girl is, how she ain't nothing to me. She's this ugly, fat woman, not my type. Like now I gotta talk bad about the woman just to keep her mind at ease. So same concept. Take it to the grave. Now if you get, all right, yeah, babe, I went to the movie. We had a day at work, and me and my coworker, which is a woman, we the top two agents, and they let us go have dinner, but it was nothing like that. But outside of that, no harm, no foul. Take it to the grave. Don't bring drama into your life. When you be too fellas, when you that honest, it's gonna cause drama. Because she might say, "Oh, it's okay." She'll keep that tuck in the pocket. Wait the years later on, and when she do something, she gonna be like, "Oh, I remember back in 2008, you on that there." So I mean, I can do it. You did it, and see how that shit goes. Nah, take it to the grave, fellas.
Oh, child. Okay, Consider 2.0. Thank you for joining us, fellas. But if you find out your woman cheated, she wanted you to know, because they way better at that than us shaking my head. That's actually fact. We do want you to know. We actually do. They also continue to say, I'll compete during the dating/courting phase. Once we become exclusive, competition is over. And that's but here's the thing, Conceited. Here's the part. Once we're exclusive, we want you to pursue us the way that you did when we were just dating in that courting stage. And there is this like adrenaline rush you get knowing that, like, I love that anticipation when my man is calling me on the phone and all of that. So if you go from checking on me throughout the day, 3 or 4 calls throughout the day, to like one maybe at night, and maybe you send me a text. But again, there's some man who's messaging me, hey, beautiful, all that stuff. We want that rush. We want that bit of, it's like a dopamine hit, right? We miss that dopamine hit that you used to give us. And homeboy over here is like, dopamine every 2 seconds. We fall for it. We're weak. Like, I was going to admit, we're weak. We're weak when it comes to that. We may not fall for the peen. Like, it may not be the peen that gets us. A man who's just coming in talking about, like, I'm hot and you want to get some of this eggplant. We're not going to fall for that. But the dopamine hit of attention, affection, seemingly care, we fall for that all the time. We're weak for it. I just let out the secret, ladies. Sorry. Anyhow, we continue.
15.
15. We've done 15, so I'm going to do 16. How would you react if your partner admitted they had a work spouse?
No. No, because I had a work wife, and no. It's going to did that right now. You cannot have a work wife.
What were you doing with your work wife?
All I'm saying is that, no, my spouse cannot be your work husband. I'm your work husband. I'm your work husband. I'm your home husband. I'm your weekend husband. I'm your workout husband. You can't have a personal trainer. I'm your personal. What you need me to do? I'll be that guy. I'll. You know what? Guys can switch characters too. What you need me to be that? I could be that too. No.
I'm dead.
Mm-mm.
I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Here's the thing, because I know women, and I know us well. I know it so well. Yeah, it's a no. Actually, I'm thinking about it. All I'm thinking is this woman baking my man cookies or bringing him leftovers or all of that stuff, that's just gonna piss me off. So no, it's no,
Look,
honey. There's no work spouse for you.
let me throw some more context on
Just me
top.
off. I got off inside. I got off. It's off.
So it can make sense for the listeners. Once again, when you work, most people work Monday through Friday, 5 days a week, 40 hours in that week. You spend more time at work than you do at home.
That's true.
So you're building more relationship, more bonding with your work wife than you do with your actual wife. Let that marinate for a second. You're spending more time doing the same job, relating to each other, having a conversation about work, and then sometimes about life. Because if you go home to your wife, you can't talk to her. Guess who you talk to? The work wife. And then the work wife, what she'll do, I'm hungry. She'll bring you food, baking you cookies and cakes and all type of stuff. And all of a sudden, now you're playing with cakes. I'm done.
Consider too more. They said, Nash, when you do too much, my God. He's like, you don't need to be her trainer and everything else. But that cakes one just got me.
Hey, listen,
She's bringing you cakes. Now you're playing with cakes.
Hey, listen, you might want to be a trainer because, you know what I mean? Them trainers be slapping ass now. All right, baby, go lower. All right, now. Go ahead. Listen, she got a trainer be that same gym, too, on the other side watching. Mm-hmm.
I'm disinterested. I am going to do a couple more. I'm going to go with number 77. Number 77. Should your partner have access to your phone, or is that crossing a line?
For me, you can have my PIN information, but only use my phone if it's an emergency. That's it. I mean, emergency. I'm talking about accident, life or death, whatever. No, because I can know your password, but I'll never use your phone. I treat my phone like, for example, I don't go in a woman's purse.
I get that.
So she's like, babe, go and grab this for me. I will bring your whole purse to you, right? Because I don't want to be in your purse. I don't care what's in your purse. I don't want to know. I don't care the money's sitting right there. Here's your purse, hand it to me. So I say the person because as men, listen, we don't carry purses, but our phone is our personal information, personal XYZ as well. Don't go through my shit. I don't care that we're married. That's still my personal thing. Because sometimes shit happens. I'm called what it is. Sometimes shit happens, right? You might have a conversation with somebody you shouldn't have. But sometimes that conversation may not even lead to nothing. You might wing it off. But it may be some conversation there, but it'll mean nothing. But if you see that, then now it's a bigger situation that ain't there, right? I remember one time I was having a conversation with a woman, and I had a different watch. It wasn't Apple, it was Samsung. Samsung was going to be caught up. Team Apple. But anyway, this girl, she was reaching out to me, but I wasn't saying nothing to her, right? I wasn't entertaining none of it, but she still messaged me. I can't stop somebody. Well, I could have blocked her. That's another conversation. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that some of the messages went to the phone, right? Went to the watch. So I came home one day and said, "Who is this?" I'm like, "I don't know who it is." And it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, okay." And then she was like, going on, "Who is he? What is it?" I was like, "Well, did you read the messages?" Because if you read the messages, you just saw how I blocked this shit down. Like I cut it off. So there shouldn't be an argument between me and you right now, right? But I kind of found out it's a watch. She didn't go through my phone, but she went to the watch. But I showed her my phone. I said, "See, yeah, the message came in, but I blocked it. You know what I mean? I shut it down." The point the point I'm trying to make is that situation almost went far right because she thought I was actually messing around, but I wasn't. I was shutting shit down. Another situation that happened when I was married early. Now, my fellas, we can relate. We have group chat too. We don't have group chats.
The group chat, not the group chat.
I'm saying that, back in the days, the fellas, we've sent pictures. Hey, yo, look at her, look at this, right? Well, one day I was chilling with the wife, had my phone out, and all of a sudden a picture popped in. Whoop, right? Babe, this, did you see? I barely talked to him, but this is what we used to do back in the day. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes having full access to everybody, you don't need the full access. Because sometimes you can get yourself in trouble or make something more complicated. Now she has insecurities because I'm getting pictures of a girl, but it was sent from a dude. So yeah. Come on, man. Fact. Thank you. They don't understand that.
I just put it up there. I'm like, I'm not even going to put it up there because I get it. I get it.
Because you can't control what your boy's send you. You be minding your business all of a sudden. Oh shit. I've been at work sometimes like, oh, I may take the phone and throw out the window. Like, oh shit. I heard that.
The group chat will definitely get you in trouble. You know what? I don't mind. I'm with you. I don't mind my significant other having my passcode. Like in my last relationship, we lived together for over 2 years. Like we had each other's passcode. But it wasn't a matter of going into the phone. Sometimes he might need to grab something. I'm not around. He'd be like, "Hey, babe, I'm gonna grab something out of your phone." Blah blah blah. But I wouldn't say that we were going through each other's phone because I'm with you. Like if you miss contact, start sneaking in somebody's phone, you can turn something that was nothing into something. And it's the same thing. I can't necessarily stop a man from messaging me. I have told men I am in a relationship, and they said, I literally had someone the other day say, "Fuck you, fuck that man of yours," like literally. And I was like, like, you're right. I could block them, but I'm not a blocker. Like you have to do a lot to me for me to block you. I just ignore you. But it doesn't matter what I told him. I was like, I'm in a relationship. I'm good. He's like, fuck your man. I give a shit about your man. You're not married. When that man marries you, talk to me then. But he's married you, so you're still on the market. I was like, so it's either I'm going to entertain that. I didn't feed into that. I literally was like, sigh, and I just stopped like the conversation. But I'm not going to feel. But if my man were just look at that and not go through the history, he might be like, what the hell is going on here? So it's all right. Like, I don't mind having the password, but don't go through my phone. If you think that something is going on, let's be adults and communicate and have a conversation. So,
I agree.
so he did 2.0 said, my ex-wife got on me for a Facebook message I didn't even know I had. I'm dead.
Mm-hmm.
Dead.
That means that message came in, she saw it and deleted it, and she mad about it, but he didn't know he got it. Like, what are you talking about? Who's the girl? What girl? Like he really loves. I don't know what you're talking about. She mad in the motherfucker right now. I've been there. Trust me, I know. I've been there.
This relationship stuff is not easy, man. This stuff takes so much work, and we have to decide how much work we want to put into a relationship. Because I think sometimes it's not the relationship. Because people think like you get in a relationship and it's great and it's amazing. No, it's work, and it's work every single day. Like relationships every day take work, and are you with somebody that's worth the work that you're putting into it? Because if you're not, get out, because you're just gonna be bitter, or you know what I'm saying, like it's just gonna turn into something that you don't want. And I'm like I'm not trying to make enemies out of my partners, but I just don't want to be in a situation where I'm bitter. So sometimes you just gotta get the hell out because you just don't want to do the work. We're gonna do 2 more. I'm going to close my eyes, scroll, and randomly pick one with my hand and go. I am on question 14. Can someone love you and still be emotionally unavailable to you?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
How would you deal with that? So I love you. I'm saying I love you. But you can tell that I am just not emotionally there for whatever reason. How do you deal with that?
I mean, you actually don't. I mean, if you know, like if you're upfront, like you tell me right now, you say you love me, but you're not in love with me. I'm not gonna keep trying to pursue you. I'm not trying to win you over. Because then that's where the friends with benefit, not friends benefit. This with the what's the word? Friend zone. That's where friend zone happens. Mm-hmm. Oh, I love you. And you'll take her out, she'll do this, and she'll never move forward past the I love you versus I'm in love with you. So no, I'm not gonna, that's cool. I love you too. But once I know that there's nothing more from there, I'm gonna fall back. That's it. You're not gonna keep me around to give you that emotional or confidence booster every day. Because I like you, but you don't want to be back the same way. I'm not gonna keep stroking your ego, talking about, hey, good morning, beautiful. How you doing? Oh, this. See, you smiling because I'm not stroking your ego. once I know that there's no chance for me to go to the next level with you, I'm falling back. So fellas, don't be that guy. If the woman lets you know where she's at and she don't want you on that same level, fall back. Do not boost her ego, because all it's gonna do is pump her head up. Oh yeah, I gotta do this on my phone every day. Tomorrow, I'm beautiful. I'm this. I'm that. Don't be that guy. I was that guy before. You don't be that guy.
But what if you are in a relationship? So you're in a relationship. You're in an actual relationship. It is the both of you. There's no friend zone. There's no nothing. But the person, for whatever reason, like they love you, but they're just not emotionally unavailable. And I guess the question is, what does being emotionally unavailable even look like? And I think that's the part where we sometimes don't even know how to identify if somebody is emotionally unavailable. Like, what does emotional unavailability to you look like in a partner?
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know unless you tell me.
See, that's the part. We have to first of all identify. Like, I tend to be a very open book. Like, I'm very open with my feelings. I'm very like you ask me a question, I'm generally not gonna lie. I'm just gonna give it to you what it is. I tend to, maybe I'm too emotionally available. Sometimes I think I'm too emotionally available because I'm like, I'm just gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I'm not gonna guard it. And I think maybe that's the word. Maybe emotional unavailability looks like someone who is guarded. Maybe that's what it looks like. Like, I'm saying the words I love you, but I'm also guarded because I'm not letting you in. So for me, I think that's what that would be. You're saying the word, because I've experienced that, right? Someone who's saying they love me, but they're also keeping me at bay. They're not letting me in. They're not making me go to that place with them to really find out the crux of who they are as a person. Because I don't want to just love parts of you. I want to love the entirety of you, good, bad, or indifferent. But if you're only letting me see bits and pieces of you, to me, maybe that's my definition. That would be my definition of emotional unavailability.
Got it.
Casita 2.0 says actions speak louder than words. The thing about it is sometimes, and I agree with that because I'm a big person. I always say the word love is a verb, right? Like, I've always said that. I'm like, love is not a noun; it is a verb. Love is based on action; it's what you do. But I often question, especially people who do not necessarily have track record of relationships, right? Like, there are people who I meet that they could be in their 40s and 50s who said, I've only been in, say, 2 relationships in my entire life. I've had things, but when it comes to relationships, investment of time and energy and anything else, I've only had 2. And I've never been married, or I've never lived with anybody, or they've done it, but it was toxic. And so now they're coming from a toxic place and thinking that they're healed. But when you're truly healed, when you're actually truly healed and you've never had to go through something toxic, the person who's saying, yeah, I just got out of something toxic, but I feel like I'm healed, you can still see the toxicity in them. And you're wanting more from them, and they think they're giving you something, but they're so used to toxicity that you, in your healed space, you're just like, oh no, like, you're actually not available, and they can't see it. And no matter what you tell them, because they're so used to toxic, anything outside of that to them is healed. But when a person who's truly healed, they're still seeing the toxicity because they're not used to that. So I think it's one of those things where you talk about communication is sometimes we're communicating, but we're still not hearing each other. We think we're saying the same thing, but we're actually not saying the same thing at all because of the starting point. Like, you can't grow something in toxic soil. So if you were used to something that's toxic, and all of a sudden you take yourself out of toxic and put yourself into a new thing, thinking that you're gonna plant yourself. No, there's so much work that you have to do. You just got out of toxic soil. You don't go from toxic soil to like healed soil. I've done some work and now I'm healed. There's so much that goes into that. If you've only grown up in that type of soil that's rich and full and so forth, that toxic thing just doesn't work. Anyways, I'm going in a tangent, but I find that a lot where, I talk to men and they're like, you know what, I've been in toxic relationships and I was with a woman who does this, and like they don't understand disrespect. Like for them, disrespect is cussing you out and calling out your name. Where for me, disrespect could simply be you being like swearing at me on the phone. To me, that's disrespectful. Don't do that. Don't do that to me because I'm not going to swear at you. I might swear in the context of a conversation and be like, oh yeah, and that blah 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 blah. But I'm not going to swear at you. Be like, hey twins, you mother, you're like, I just don't do that because I'm vibrating over here. But for a person who came out of toxicity, the fact that he didn't call me a bitch or a slut or a whore, and pardon my language tonight, guys, but just for context, that for him means like I'm good. I didn't call you out your name. Yeah, I swore at you. Yeah, I raised your voice. Yeah, I did the whole thing. But if you're at peace with yourself, that's for you. Like it's messing up your equilibrium. And I think sometimes we have to be honest with where we are. And this whole like I'm healed when you're actually not is it's a dangerous place to be in, especially when you meet somebody who is truly healed. I'm gonna let you sit on that one for a second and just say what Conceited 2.0 was saying. I know that from living it, my life was so chaotic. When I got with a woman who really brought me peace, I wasn't used to it and ran her off. Biggest fumble ever.
Dang. That's tough. That's tough to know that the one you had and you fumble it. Oh man, that one sucks.
When you operate in chaos, I was in a relationship like that. The person was so used to operating in chaos that they didn't even realize the chaos around them. And I was like, oh my God, like this is a lot. And they're looking at me like, this is every day, Tuesday. And I'm like, really? Because this is not my Tuesday. My Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, nothing looks like this. But they were so accustomed to that chaos. And for me, I was like, this is throwing off my equilibrium. I meditate, drink water, work out, and mind my business. And all of this dumpster fire is happening over here. And you think it's Tuesday. It's an interesting space to be. So, anyhow, that was a long thing, but we need to think about those things. But when's your final point about that, if you have one?
I don't. You hit it on top of the nail, and then the statement follow up by the Conceited 2.0. Yeah, I got nothing to add to that.
I respect it. I know it's Thanksgiving. You people have got to get back to your families. We want to thank everybody for joining. As usual, we are going to go into our Mr. is not here to give his dating tip, but we are here. We're going to hold it down. We are going to do our dating tips for the night before we log off, and I'm going to pass it to Twins first.
So, dating tip of the night. Man, I think I said a lot today. I'm gonna go with for 500 dating tip. I said this already earlier, but fellas, guard your relationship with care, right? I know they say be honest with me, tell me everything, it won't matter. Fellas, don't do it. Don't do it. Take to the grave. Don't tell them everything because they will use that against you later on. They'll put it to the side for something else later on. Don't. And whatever you do throughout your day, don't ever mention another female. Don't. Now, if you get seen with someone else, be honest up front with it, right? Take it to the grave. Protect your relationship because something so small like, I was walking to the store and this girl crossed in front of me and then the cop shot this one person. I gave him CPR, broke my life. All she gonna say was, who's the girl walked in front of you? Like this is, forget you know what I mean? Forget everything else you did. It's the girl. One point I'm trying to do not talk about no woman to your woman ever. All right, I'm done.
Before we go on, I'm gonna put that up there. At least I was there. Okay, I'm actually going to have one for the fellas as well. We're leaving out the ladies tonight. Fellas, this is for you, especially because it is the season where people get together with family. Fellas, do not bring a woman to any family gathering that you are not serious with. Don't do it. Do not bring her to Thanksgiving. Do not bring her to the housewarming. Definitely do not bring her to Christmas. Do not bring her to weddings. Do not bring her to anything where your immediate close family and friends are going to be there unless you're serious with her. Because going back to what we talked about, what Casita 2.0 said earlier, actions speak louder than words. So that action is saying to her, we're in drive. We're moving this thing forward because why would you be bringing me around your family unless you felt that there was something that was there for us to proceed. So if this is just a woman that you're chilling with, that you're hanging out with, that you're cool with, all of that stuff, keep her out of the family settings. You might want to introduce her to a close friend or two. That's one thing. But mom and dad and sisters and uncles and all of that stuff, grandparents, don't do it. Because what you're doing to that woman is sending mixed signals, and that ish ends really badly. Because again, we're looking for those signs. We're looking at those actions. For a woman, yeah, your words are something, but it's those actions. So when you're sending me flowers and you're calling me all the time, and now you're taking me to family events, and you're like, now I'll call my girls, like, yeah, girl, he's taking me to such and such with his family, blah, 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 blah. They're like, oh, girl, you know he's serious. Because why would he do that if he's not? So don't do it, fellas. Don't think, oh, I just need a date to this wedding, or I'm just going to bring her by and blah, blah, blah. If she's eating your grandma's yams, okay, and your mama's famous mac and cheese, and your daddy's barbecue ribs, she thinks you guys are in a relationship. Stop it. Stop it now. Don't do it. Just be lonely for the holidays. Just see her later after the family shindig. Have your own thing. Not saying don't spend time with her, just don't spend time with her with family. That's it.
I agree. I second that message. Facts.
So
That's the worst thing you could do. Do not bring around, honestly, from pretty much from Halloween, after Halloween until March, be single. Yeah, because you gotta get past Valentine's Day too.
Oh yeah.
Because if you bring around Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, Valentine's Day, come on now. She thinks she in full blown relationship at this point now. You don't buy gifts. She met your family. You came in the New Year with her. You know everybody feel about New Year's. Whoever you come to New Year with, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're gonna skip all. If that girl's not the one, do not break off with her. Take a break from her until March. Maybe April, because if you want to get that tax money, you know what I'm saying? Maybe April.
Good night. Good night. I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I'm gonna put up Conceited 2.0's comment here. He said, "See, I'm the opposite. I cuff when it's cold outside, but I get gone when the weather breaks. I'm done. I'm actually done." And also says, "I've got a date tip, fellas. Go to the wedding alone. Don't take Stan to the beach."
Hey, listen, go to the wedding alone is a smart move because there's always gonna be single women there too. Just saying.
I'm actually gonna go back to something you said about that New Year's thing, fellas. That New Year's thing is actually a big deal for a lot of us women. New Year's is a big deal. It's old with the out, and you bring in the new. So if you are not with your woman for New Year's Eve, trust and believe, no matter how much she says, babe, it's okay, I get it, blah, blah, blah. She feels a certain type of way and she starts questioning the relationship. Because if you don't want to spend time with her, I guarantee you if you got a good woman, there is some man always waiting for that opportunity to take it. Girl, oh, well, you're not doing anything. Your man's not going to be with you. I got you, girl. We can go as friends. And now we're feeling a certain type of way. Sure, my man's not going to be around. Sure, I'll go, especially when they say we'll fly you out to Miami. But that's
Not to fly up to Miami. All right.
Another story for another day, but I digress. Thank you, everyone. Like, subscribe, share. If you are new, do not just shack up with us. Come in, join it, bring us here and see the 2.0 said, wow. I'm just saying, I might be getting off our site, but I digress. But do not just shack up with us. Come in here, press the subscribe button, make sure that you get the notification, comment, share, let everybody know. You see the 2.0 said we're going to get that story next week. We sure are, maybe not.
Right.
Come back next week, actually. Come back, tell your people, and maybe I'll tell that story next week. So thank you, everyone. Good night. See you. Happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. Thank you for joining us on this Family Turkey Day. We will see you next week. Bye.
Later. Next week.